Be talking about surface area this week. This first day, we're going to talk about the surface area of prisms and cylinders. The first example we have here is we have a rectangular prism. That is when all of the faces of the prism are rectangles. They want us to find the lateral area and the surface area. Being that it is a rectangular prism, you might get a different lateral area because all the faces are rectangles. So when you're choosing the base of a rectangular prism, you have options, where normal prisms, you don't really have an option for what the base is going to be. I'm going to act like this bottom portion of the figure is the base, and it has dimensions of 6 by 8 by 6 by 8. And then the height of the prism is going to be 5. We're going to be looking at, this is the formula for the prisms, even though the image that you see here is a triangular prism, all prisms use this formula. This formula for surface area is P for perimeter of the base times the height of the prism, plus 2 times the area of the bases. The lateral area formula is the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. So the height is going to be 5. P is going to be the perimeter of the base, which is going to be 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8, which is 28. And then B, which is the area of the base, is going to be 6 times 8, which is 48. So the formulas just need B, P, and H to calculate them. So I always like to just figure out B, P, and H right away. So the lateral area is going to be the perimeter times the height. So 28 times 5, 140. It is area, so it'll be meters squared. And then the surface area is to take that lateral area, that pH part, the 28 times 5, and add 2 times the area of the base, which is 48. Well, we already know that 140 is the P times H part, and then 2 times 48 is 96. So 96 plus 140 is 236 meters squared for the total surface area. The next sample we have is a cylinder. Cylinder formulas, they all use this formula here, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, and the lateral area is 2 pi rh. This does come from the prism formula. The P is the perimeter of the circle, which is 2 pi r, and that's what this is right here, this 2 pi r times the h. That's the same as ph. And then this 2 pi r squared is the same as the 2b, because the area of the base of a cylinder is pi r squared. The lateral area, that's that perimeter times height, and the perimeter of the circle is 2 pi r times the height. So they are related to each other. And we're going to find lateral area and surface area. And all we need for the formula is r and h. The radius of the cylinder is 3, and the height of the cylinder is 8. So to do the lateral area, 2 pi times r times h, which is 8. So this is going to be, simplifying that, it's going to be 48 pi. So 48 pi meters squared. And if they wanted you to, this is in terms of pi, this is an exact answer. They might want you to do in terms of pi like I did here, or they might want you to go ahead and multiply with pi and get a decimal answer. It just depends on how they're asking in the question. For the surface area, we're going to do 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, which we already calculated was 48 pi. So the r squared has to happen first, so 3 squared is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, so we have 18 pi and 48 pi. These are both in terms of pi, so you can add them together. This will give us 66 pi. So 66 pi meters squared is the surface area of the cylinder. Next, we have a triangular prism, and the base is the right triangle that you see here. When you have a prism, if there is a shape that is not a rectangle, that has to be the base. So in this case, the base of the figure is the triangle, and it is a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side. If you use Pythagorean theorem saying like x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared, you should get that x is 3. It's also a Pythagorean triple if you recall our Pythagorean triples from when we studied Pythagorean theorem a couple weeks ago. It's a 3, 4, 5. It's my favorite one, and we use it so often that it's easy to remember, and you want to be on the lookout for it because us teachers use it all the time. So you need your sides of your base because the formulas involve p, perimeter of the base. So I want to think about what perimeter of the base is going to be. I have 3 and 4 and 5. So that perimeter is 12 centimeters. They also use the area of the base. It's a triangle, and the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height of the triangle. When you have a right triangle, the legs of it, the 4 and the 3, are the base and the height of the triangle. So 1/2 times 4 times 3. So that's going to be 6. So the B, the area of the base, the area of the triangle, is 6. The height of the prism is always the distance from one base to another. So for this image, the distance from this triangle over to the other triangle, that is the height, which they've labeled with H. That's going to be one thing that we're finding. So they gave us the surface area of the prism, which is 120. And it's the surface area, so we want to use this top formula, pH plus 2b. So I'm going to be solving 120 equals to P, which is 12, times H, which I don't know, plus 2 times B, which I do know is 6. So looking at this, simplifying, we have 120 equals 12H plus 12, because 2 times 6 is 12. And so solving 120 minus 12 is 108. So 12H is 108. Dividing by 12, I get 9 for my height. So 9 centimeters is going to be the height. And then they want the lateral area. So the lateral area is the formula pH. So we want to do P, which is 12, times the height we just found to be 9, which is 21. No, I typed that wrong. I added 12 times 9, 108. Definitely not 21 centimeters squared because it is area. So that's kind of a working backwards question. The last one in this day's set of notes is a pentagonal prism. We want to find the lateral area and surface area of a pentagonal prism. So it's going to have a pentagon base. We are using the prism formulas, pH plus 2b and pH. And they gave us the height of the prism and the length of the base edge. So if I have a regular pentagon, boy, this image is so bad, sorry. Let's see, the height of the prism, so going back into space, that height to the next pentagon would be a height of 4 centimeters. That's our height. And the base edge is 5. That's all the way across that base edge. So we did study area of regular polygons, and we are going to be using that to do some work here. And this part of the triangle on the bottom is going to be half of the 5, so it's going to be 2.5. Being that it's a pentagon, to think of the angle at the top is going to be 360 divided by 2 times 5, so 360 divided by 10, which is 36. So that top angle is 36 degrees. We need the apothem in order to find the area of the base. We can already know the perimeter of the base. There's 5 sides and they're each 5, so the perimeter is 25. I am going to use my trig to find my area of the base, and we already know the height of the prism is 4. So the only thing we're missing is the area of the base. So I need to find the area of the base, and I'm going to use the formula 1/2 apothem times perimeter. And I need to calculate the apothem. Using this triangle, I have the opposite and I need the adjacent. So that's O and A, so I will need to use the tangent function. Tangent of 36 is opposite over adjacent. So A tan 36 equals 2.5. So I'm going to divide by tangent 36. Make sure you're in degree mode. 2.5 divided by tangent 36 should get about 3.44. 3.44095, whatever. So my apothem, about 3.44. So I'm going to do 1/2 of the apothem times the perimeter. And I'm going to use the full decimal that I have in my calculator. And I'm getting 43.01 for the base area. So I'm going to use that as my base area and find my lateral area, my surface area. So the lateral area is just pH. You didn't even need the base for that part. So this lateral area is going to be the perimeter, 25, times the height of 4. That's going to be 100 centimeters squared. So even if you couldn't find the area of the base, you would be able to find the lateral area. The surface area is to take that lateral area, that 100, and add 2 bases because there's a base on each end. So 43.01 is that base. So 2 times my 43.01 plus 100, 186.02 centimeters squared. So that's our lateral area and our surface area for a pentagonal prism. And that's all of our samples for today.